Killian Sheridan, and welcome to episode 5 of The Sheriff Show with Lewis Capaldi, who unfortunately again hasn't managed to show up. Very busy flogging CDs and limited edition singles. So as always, I'll help the team out, support them, get them if they're still available, because he's putting a lot of time and effort into them. Shout out Missy Elliott for the intro today, Work It. And also there was a little bit of suggestions also this week from another shout out number 2 to Richie Tobin for suggesting ASAP Rocky Fucking Problems. No, Kendrick Lamar's verse, he said, on Fucking Problems. Before I go more into that, introduce my guest format for today. Well, also my guest, my co-star today, upgraded from fluffer to co-star. Guest star.
I'll take fluffer.
Still, even though you're on camera?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm happy with both. Co-star fluffer.
Main fluffer, star fluffer, we'll say. We'll find a happy medium. Darren Connell.
Yes.
Darren Connell?
Yes.
Darren Connell. That's a shout out to Rick Glass. Do you watch Rick Glassman? Do
No.
you know Rick Glassman?
I know the name.
Paul, do you know Rick Glassman's podcast?
Yes, I do actually. He's a stand-up comedian.
Yeah, Take Your Shoes Off.
Yes.
Shout out Rick Glassman.
He's a good lad.
His podcast. I've early shout outs here. Rick Glassman's podcast. And something he does. I don't want to copy him too much, but we'll say I'll draw inspiration from him. And I was thinking anytime I give someone a shout out, Paul might not like this. I might put their handle.
That's all right.
Their Insta handle. So we'll get Richie Tobin for a intro suggestion. I'm not going to use his suggestion, but I appreciate the effort and the thought. So we can I'll give Richie Tobin a shout out.
Yeah.
Rick Glassman can get a shout out. Yeah, so I would check out Rick Glassman's podcast, Take Your Shoes Off, and you'll see where my inspiration is coming from.
Yeah. I'm not taking my shoes off. I can't.
That's okay. And I appreciate your off, because you were a little bit of a last minute
Yeah.
co-star, guest star, star fluffer today.
Yeah.
And I appreciate your offer of not doing it because you were thinking you were just in the hoodie and joggers because you were walking. So
I wanted to walk in and get some fresh air. So I just, I want to take a chance to just say thank you for being kind about that, for being understanding.
this is like a kind of. I thought you were being the kind of. So Darren is a actor, comedian actor. Comedian actor, yeah. I would say.
Yeah.
Who's just finished a little run?
I finished my tour. Thank you for being my friend. We finished the Oran Moor on Saturday, which was a sellout.
Nice one. How was the whole thing as a whole?
It started off frustrating and then it ended really well.
Frustrating because?
Just because there was things like people just recovering from the pandemic and people are skint and stuff, but it picked up. It did well. And we've finished filming the 8th season of Scott Squad as well. So
which is part of the comedian actor.
Yeah. I don't think anybody knows who I am, mate. outside a mile radius of my house.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised.
Thanks for being kind again. Can I ask you a quick question before we get into it?
Yeah.
Do you get your eyebrows threaded?
Oh, well, I was going to get into it. Just got them done today. I went for a coffee and I was walking home after it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I've got time. I'm walking beside it. I'll just go in.
Yeah.
And I haven't had it done for maybe about 2 months, 3 months.
I feel like I've just ruined a big bit.
Agony.
Have I ruined a part?
No, I've actually helped it.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's quite obvious if I've just had them done.
Yeah.
But
hey, don't take away what I just achieved there.
What?
That I guessed that you got your eyebrows threaded. A normal man wouldn't predict that.
It takes a shredder to spot it. It does, because I can spot it as well. I consider it the same as getting a haircut. You get a haircut, you want your hair to look nice and tidy. I've bushy eyebrows. Not bushy in the like Colin Farrell sexy bushy eyebrows. So I'll every now and again I'll go and get them sorted.
Yeah.
They should do me not a few weeks.
How much was it?
£9, I think.
That's not bad, by the way.
I just, on the way in here, got a bag of crisps, cheese and onion, Walkers. £1.
For regular?
Just a normal bag. Just wanted a quick little nibble. Inflation's getting out of hand. If that's, I know everyone, the thing everyone goes to is the Freddos. Oh yeah, the cost of things now, and then they're like, they base it off of Freddo. That's yesterday's joke. Walkers is the new reference point to bag of crisps is the new reference point to inflation. I mentioned this. It's hard now. See, I don't want to be rude here, and if you're talking, and I look here to find out what I'm going to go into next, I'm still listening.
Don't worry about it, mate.
Because I know maybe it should probably show up. I presume when you're talking, the camera will be on you. So it means I can kind of go down here and look at what I'm got to go, but I'm still, without looking at what I'm going into and not listening. But again, this isn't an interview, because I said that from the start. I won't bring people on. I've said a lot of things in the first few that I'm regretting, that I'm going to have to, not regret, but I'm going to be called a hypocrite for going back on my word. So it's going to be hard if I get people on without talking about, asking them about their career. I want them just to be involved in the podcast like it normally is. Like you normally are anyway.
Yeah.
Except this time you're on camera.
Yeah.
So people aren't just looking at me. Which seems a bit of a waste after getting my eyebrows done. The camera's not just going to be on me the whole time. I mentioned something there about copying. I didn't want to copy Rick Glassman's podcasts because he does a lot of editing where he'll put in little characters and just loads of edit, like after editing or post production, technical term.
Post
Post-production.
I think so.
And they add in loads of edits and stuff. So I was like, I'll just add in little bits and pieces. I don't want to copy him too much. Like I said, just take inspiration. But I will hold my hands up for a blatant copy, plagiarism. And it's someone you know. Have I got the name right? Joe Hewlett?
Joe Hewlett? Yeah.
So see that Insta story I posted today with Ronaldo, the Bruno Fernandes and Ronaldo thing?
Yes.
He tweeted something. He tweeted the same picture with different references. About his was production team. Fernandes was the production team,
All right,
and
okay.
Ronaldo was the actor or the award winner or something,
Mm-hmm.
and he like tweeted it saying me at the BAFTAs.
And you pinched it.
Yeah. So here's my credit to him and my apology and me owning up to it. Just in case it only takes one person to spot it
Yeah.
and ruin me.
Yeah.
So I'll
Fair play to you, mate.
yeah. So sorry, Joe. But it was worth it. People loved it.
Yeah.
People loved it. Trying to think. Yeah, we can put a photo of it up here.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah, for reference. I messed up last week not sending you the first of all the Ed Sheeran clips of the songs, and then the clips of my songs, which I think would have made it much better. One of my friends who reposted it, I shouldn't have said one of my friends. Makes it look a bit.
Yeah.
Felt sorry for me and just reposted a clip of the show. Only my friends are listening to it. Anyway, he reposted it, and I was talking to him and I was saying, "Oh, yeah, it would have been." He said he listens to the show and then got Spotify up along and listened to the songs afterwards, and he was like, "Yeah, it was much like when it all made sense and came together." Anyway, I won't live in the past. Like I said last week, we get better, not bitter.
I like that. A mantra.
Well, that's 2 weeks in a row, so I suppose we could say it's the show's mantra. Don't get bitter, get better. I just saw my Spotify Wrapped there, speaking of my music career.
What was on it?
Respectable, maybe. I've had a few embarrassing ones over the years. Have you checked yours? No?
I'm going to try and access it just
I
now.
don't use Spotify.
Well, I use YouTube Music now for the last maybe 6 months. I'm a YouTube Premium user also.
Not bad.
Which, if I was to recommend any monthly subscription service, YouTube Premium is the one you will not regret. I'm a YouTube Premium stan.
I'm quite happy with that list. Post Malone, Patient is number 1. Sting, Fields of Gold. Yeah, that's about it. Nelly, Just a Dream. Why is that there?
Eclectic.
Whoops. Slipped up.
I had my number one was a Pusha T song, which was, and I when it came up, I didn't even know what the song was. But anyway, I'm putting that down to me turned over to YouTube Music. That was maybe the early part of this year. I'll accept it. Better than Drake in previous years. I don't even like Drake. What else here? I have a question here for myself, asking and wondering, will I be petty? And I'm thinking in my head, fuck it. I'll be petty about it. And this is going out to Owen Gray. Can't call him a word. I was going to say Owen Gray yet, but that word we can't afford to be demonetized. No Insta handle shout out for Owen Gray, please. He sent me, and I know. I said all reviews welcome. This technically wasn't a review on the podcast, an official review, but he messaged me just saying, "My God, that was dreadfully boring." I was raging when I saw it. And then I started questioning the whole thing. I was watching, I was like, is he onto something? Maybe it is boring.
Do you know him?
No, I don't know him.
Yeah.
But I went in, had a look. His profile picture, he was standing in front of a cow holding a bottle of Budweiser. And that's what hurt the most, that it was that kind of taste.
Yeah.
That got to me. But you know what we say here? No.
Don't get better.
Don't get bitter.
Don't get better. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, man. I'm so sorry. You totally flung me there with the guy with the cow. I'm like, don't get better, get better.
Don't get bitter, get better. So I know I said all reviews are welcome, so I'll apologize for that little rant. Fuck it, we'll leave it in. And I think already it has got better. Got a guest, a co-star that will set us up for the future.
Yeah.
Future episodes. Stay tuned for episode 6. There's a good chance I won't have someone for episode 6. So my mouth is writing checks that my mouth can't cash.
Or at least get someone that can remember the mantra after 10 seconds.
To be fair, it's very recently become the mantra. I mean, you claimed it was the mantra, so
yeah,
it's probably your decision if it is the mantra, seeing as you invented it. you christened it,
yeah,
with the mantra of get better, not bitter. Shout out time again. Shout out Inner Circle Clothing handle. He messaged me a few months ago, I think. And he has this clothing brand. And I thought, the way he messaged me, the way he approached it, there was no insults like Mr. Grey up there. But actually there's pretty cool stuff. Went on and looked. There's little t-shirts with embroidery, like stitching. So he's got a little tiny, like a Buckfast bottle. Sorry, it's not a book. Maybe it's a tonic. It's a tonic wine bottle. There's another one with the old R9 boots, the multicolored ones. And what else was there? A little Guinness pint. Little pint of Guinness. Although again, I can't say, maybe it wasn't Guinness. Maybe it's just a pint of stout. Yeah, so shout out Inner Circle Clothing. Promised them that I'd do that the next episode. So
nice.
Man of my word. Also, I meant to start this episode with me wearing just the t-shirt that I have on, and it's going to look a little bit like a full thing now, taking it off. But I made a t-shirt when I was during COVID, maybe in Poland. Like, fuck it, I'll do one or two and see what they look like. And it's with pretty much the same logo. And I was just thinking for a little merch check, a little merch float the idea. And maybe kind of cool.
Trendy, mate.
It doesn't have the sheriff show on it or anything, and I don't know if people would want sheriff show on it. Sheriff show with Lewis Capaldi. Or I could do the sheriff show, and then at the bottom down here, with Lewis Capaldi. Because I mean, if he's never going to show up, he shouldn't get prime real estate up here.
No way.
I'm just going to gauge maybe the interest, and people want this.
Show it to the camera.
Because it could...
It's a wee bit behind the mic.
Is it blocking?
Yeah, there you go.
What size are you in a t-shirt?
L for large.
It's not bad.
Good fit. This won't be the actual t-shirt. I mean, it will be this design. It'll probably be white,
yeah,
with this little design, but it'll be a different manufacturer. This was made in a sweatshop. I'm joking, this wasn't made in a sweatshop. Or else, seeing as it's winter season, maybe a wee hoodie. little hoodie with the same, something a similar design. Gone all in on this logo anyway. So hit me up if you want. Not sure how people will hit me up. Well, Owen Gray found a way to hit me up, so
Yeah.
probably just go the same way he did, through Instagram or Twitter. Do you have more followers on Twitter or Instagram?
Twitter.
And do you get more interaction on Twitter or Instagram?
I actually get more interaction on Instagram, funnily enough.
I've been the same. Lately, I don't know if I've just not been as funny, but my Twitter activity has gone way down. Maybe it's Elon Musk trying to, must be Elon Musk's new regime.
Well, I've lost something like 800 followers on Twitter in the last 5 days. And I've got an unfollower app.
Okay.
And it's people deleting their accounts.
Really?
Yeah.
I say this honestly, that I have no idea how many I've lost or what I've lost or what I was on before or anything. So people deleted Twitter just because Elon Musk took over.
That's the only reason I'm thinking. I don't know. I don't know why.
Way to show him, huh?
Yeah.
You know what I say to them? Fannies. New segment. Another new segment. Today's segment is just coming up with new segments until one sticks, because the reviews didn't work. Listener contribution or viewer contribution has been poor, to say the least. Some would say non-existent. So it just didn't take off as I thought it would take off. And another part of that is, one of them I had a word of the podcast. I never done that once, even the first one. when I decided to do it, it was a bit too spontaneous, that one. But I think I've got a good one. So this week's segment is going to be viral TikTok. It is what it says. I'm going to try and come up with a viral TikTok video clip. The premise is going to be, I'm going to pretend it's all fake. I'm going to pretend to be a former McDonald's worker and pretend that McDonald's workers play this game with vegans. So every time a vegan orders the McPlant, they slip in a beef burger. And if the person doesn't bring it back or return it and say, I think this is a beef burger, they get a point, or they win the game, the little game they play in store, in house. Because I don't think if I was given a McPlant or a vegan burger, I don't know if I'd be able to tell the difference between it, because it's been so long since I've had a beef burger. Does it have legs, do you think? The idea, not the food or the burger.
I mean, it does. It sounds like a crime's getting committed, but yeah, that it does sound good fun. I
feel like that's the kind of thing that you would get on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
Like, check out this former McDonald's worker. I can see the headlines now.
Yeah. And there's like a reward scheme in place.
McDonald's comes under fire for sick game played by employees. I could try it here.
Yeah.
And clip it.
Yeah.
Okay, so what am I doing here? I'm going to be a McDonald's worker. Didn't think this through. Okay, here goes. Will I do this if I'm telling you the story? Okay, yeah. I'm telling you the story. So when I used to work at McDonald's, we used to play this game, and this might be the reason I got fired, and why I don't work there anymore. But we played this game with vegans because we found they were quite difficult customers to deal with. And when the new McPlant burger got introduced, we would play a game between us that whoever got the order, if you could slip in a beef burger instead of the vegan patty, and the customer didn't come and return it, it was a point. And then at the end of the week, we'd add it all up. And the winner would get, we'd normally just go out for dinner and you'd get your drinks paid for. Would that work?
Yeah.
I used to be a vegan, so I can identify with the rage that they'll feel with us.
Yeah. And I think it could be funny because I'm a vegan and I might be fucking targeted by the vegans.
Yeah. I noticed that, see, when he said I haven't had a burger in so long, I thought, right, he's either got something wrong with him, mentally and physically, or he's a vegan. There's only two options there.
Vegan. Well, I've been over this. I say vegan just for easiness.
Yeah. Plant-based.
Plant-based, yeah. I try to be.
Have you had one of the burgers?
Yeah. The McDonald's
McPlant?
ones, yeah. They're
Pretty good.
very good.
Nice.
That's what I mean. Like, it tastes, because it's been so long, it just tastes to me like having a McDonald's burger.
Do you mind me asking how long you've been plant-based for?
I think 6 years.
That's awesome.
Like
Good on
6 years. 5 or 6 years, maybe.
Darren gave it up, didn't you?
Yeah.
Why did you give it up?
Health reasons and stress.
Why did you start it?
So I was a vegetarian for 4 years and I felt amazing. And then I watched
Episode
Earthlings.
1 of the...
I watched Earthlings with Joaquin Phoenix
Okay.
and it freaked me out. And then I listened to a podcast. It was Rich Roll because I'm sober and Rich Roll's sober.
Okay.
And I could identify with a lot of things that he was saying. And then I just started eating vegan food, and it was delicious. It started off because the food tasted better, and then I got into animal stuff.
Did you eat a lot of meat replacements, like meat substitutes?
In the second year of veganism, I did, because the pandemic hit, and then I'm self-employed. I had to move back in with my mum
so
and my
it's
dad,
quite recent.
and I got really stressed. So I
Okay.
lost this crazy amount of weight, and then when I moved back in with my dad, I just ruined it.
Okay.
And then I had to go to the doctors, and the doctor was like, veganism's not bad for you, but when you're eating fake meat's bad for you.
Yeah.
and
You
I
need
had-
to do it properly.
Yeah.
That's...
I was eating burgers and food that looked like Simpsons food.
Yeah.
But the first, see, when I did it properly, I felt incredible.
Yeah. That first month is when you feel it.
Yeah.
The kick.
The vegan high.
I just hate the word vegan. I like kind of cringe in myself when I have to say vegan.
Yeah.
Like the word veganism is...
Yeah.
You know what you think of when you say that?
Yeah.
Fannies.
Like that football club down in England that are all...
Forest Green Rovers.
Yeah. He seems like a fanny. I mean, it's a good cause, but
Yeah.
What's
he seems
this?
like a fanny.
Tell me more.
Forest Green Rovers are fully eco-friendly or fully green, the first fully green
Yeah.
club, I think.
All vegan.
All their meals are vegan foods, plant-based.
Yeah.
You don't need to be a vegan to play for them,
No.
but you need to eat the vegan
You couldn't
food
do
to
that.
get
You
that
couldn't do that because that would be discrimination.
Yeah.
I saw there was someone, maybe not in sports, someone was discriminated against in their work for being vegan. I could have had a case when I was in Poland. President telling me to go and eat meat.
Was he just like, shut up and just eat meat?
After I went through a little spell of not scoring, and he said he got word to me to say I should start eating meat again. But when I originally joined the club, I was on fire, and I was obviously vegan, and it was the next best thing, the next best thing, the next big thing. So it was like, oh, it must be because he's vegan
Amazing.
to doing good. And then when I was doing bad, I was like, oh well, it must be because he's vegan.
Eat a sausage.
They like a sausage in Poland, don't they?
Yes, and they don't like vegans.
Yeah.
like most places.
That woke-ish, being healthy and that.
Yeah, one segment that is recurring so far, it's held up pretty good. Question time. This is a question. I don't know. In my head, I feel like maybe it is an actual easy answer, but I used to ask people it as football, but I suppose it could be applied to anything, to anyone's job. Would you rather people think you're, so for you, would you rather people think you're a good comedian, or they thought you were a good, nice person? Would you prefer they liked what you do or liked you?
Liked me. Good person.
Okay.
If you called me a dick, I don't know if I could function.
But if I said, oh, he's a dick, but his comedy show was unbelievable.
Oh, that's a tough one, man.
Yeah, what if somebody was like, that guy's an absolute prick, but he's the best comedian in Scotland?
It depends. Is he a prick because of, like beating up old women?
Well, no, it's just that guy's opinion.
Yeah.
Or girl.
Or them.
All sexes.
I prefer people to love me as a person, to be honest.
What about you?
I don't know.
If somebody was saying, Kelly Sheridan, man, guy's a prick, but wow.
I mean, at the
what a
end of my
football player.
career, I'd probably, I don't know. It's that thing where, I hate it when footballers are talking about stuff in their day-to-day life, and they're like, oh, well, I'm that competitive edge in me. And it's someone who's won fuck all. But it's that similar thing where, like, I should say I'd rather people thought I was a good footballer, because it would mean you'd have a better career.
Mm-hmm.
But then sometimes not liking someone can cloud your judgment, and you're like, well, I don't really think he's that good of a footballer. And you're saying that because you don't like them.
Yeah.
Better question than I thought, actually. World Cup watch would have been a good segment at the start of the World Cup. Why not start it halfway through the World Cup? World Cup watch was, I tweeted this yesterday. Was it yesterday when England played?
Yeah.
Oh, this is on Monday, so I tweeted this a few days ago about the good thing about watching England winning games and doing well is it adds to the hype and hysteria and to their inevitable failure and knockout. And I don't want this to be deemed as anti-English. It's more pro-English failure. And trying to be diplomatic about it.
Yeah.
But it's tough. It's tough to listen to.
Yeah.
But I must say, if Ireland were at this World Cup, or if Scotland were at the World Cup, it might be a bit different with Scotland. If Ireland were at the World Cup and the RTE is the broadcaster, I'd fully expect them to always talk about Ireland. So I can kind of understand why they spend so much time covering England. Shout out Wales. USA at the World Cup. Tim Howard's heroics. Do you remember his heroic game? World Cup. Maybe not the last one. No, must have been the one before that.
Before
8
that.
years ago. Do you remember it?
Yes, I do. Who was it against again?
Belgium.
Yes. People were cuddling them in the airport and stuff.
Yeah. American. The thing that reminded me of it was Pulisic's goal yesterday, because he scored and got injured in scoring it, and he was all American. Instagram and Twitter was like Pulisic hero, all this kind of stuff, and it reminded me of Tim Howard's heroic. They were saying the best World Cup goalkeeping performance ever, and I went on YouTube this morning to watch it. 15 saves he made against Belgium. 4 were good saves. I'll say 4 were good saves. None of them were like world class. Wow, that was goal bound. 4 of them were good saves, and they were mostly like 1-on-1s, and it was just a bit. It was a bit American.
Yeah.
Without being too judgmental of a nation, of a perfect nation. What's your thoughts of the World Cup so far?
I'm not digging it.
No?
I'm not digging it.
Like in the actual games, have you watched all the games? Many of the games?
I've not watched all the games, but I think that they've been very poor, and it just doesn't really feel like a World Cup. It might be because of the time of year.
I've loved the group games, having games at 10 or 11 and then like every hour for the rest of the day. I think has been, it's actually, to me, it's I've almost the opposite, where I feel like, oh, this actually feels like World Cup,
Yeah.
where there's just always games.
Who do you want to win the World Cup?
I want either France or Portugal to win the World Cup. Actually, if it was between the two, I'd want Portugal to win it, because I drew Portugal in a sweepstake, and I have France in another sweepstake, but Portugal is the one with more people in it.
Yeah.
Which means a bigger prize fund. And also, I would love to see Ronaldo win the World Cup after all the hula bala.
Hullabaloo.
Hullabaloo. I think it didn't sound right. Hula bala.
I'm dyslexic, so
hullabaloo.
I understood the first one. Yeah, the response to Ronaldo's a bit much, isn't it? Or the Rio Ferdinand and stuff. You're like, get a grip.
I mean, I will say that as much as Piers Morgan is like trying to defend him, he didn't do him any favours in the way he was releasing the clips before it came out. Just releasing little sound bites without context to the full thing.
Yeah,
So it just made
clickbait.
everyone hate him before it's even released.
Yeah.
It wouldn't happen here, Cristiano.
No, in this podcast.
Not on this podcast. The authorities are listening to us and to the podcast. And I don't know if that's because I'm talking so much sense, and it's leaving them with no options other than to listen and take action. Or maybe it's the pull Lewis is having. But remember, I was talking about brain damage from seeing the chiropractor.
Yeah.
Heading is now banned in Scotland a day before a game and a day after a game. You didn't notice, huh?
No.
So you're not a SFA have banned heading the ball footballers the day before a game and the day after a game, because they're the danger days apparently. But this is the start of reducing heading the ball. And it's clearly because of what I said that day.
I wish I wore something better if they're watching. So this is when you're training, you're not allowed
well,
to...
maybe they're listening.
Yeah.
They're probably audio listeners. That's it. They don't have time for YouTube. And then leads me on to the other part. In Ireland, which I've got a lot of viewers and listeners high up, it seems, they've introduced a bill to ban vaping for under 18s. Again, seems too much of a coincidence for these to be brought into effect.
Yeah.
That's spooky.
Pretty much straight away after me speaking about them. So under 18s are no longer vaping, hopefully, in Ireland. Get them on the fags. Might cut that.
Bring back your 70s.
Get them, get them on the cigarettes. I'll finish off with my. No one really knows this. I went to during the week. I done an open goal show, one of their live shows, on Sunday. So I was going to
SWG3.
Yeah. I wasn't meant to be doing it. So before I went down, got some food, and I texted Si to ask him if there was like a little separate area I could go to. Basically asking if there was somewhere I didn't have to mingle with the degenerates. And I'll call them that now because one of them embarrassed me.
Oh, really?
Live. Yeah. In front of a full audience, a full crowd.
Oh.
So anyhow, like I was saying, I wasn't supposed to go on it. I actually bought a ticket. I paid for a ticket and ended up doing it on stage. And I was texting Si, and he was like, "Do you want to come up on stage?" So I said, "Fuck it, yeah, why not? I'll do it." And went on, obviously no preparation really. And I was thinking, right, I'm just going to play this very safely and just speak when spoken to. Wasn't the way to go. Wasn't the way to go. Got called, got shouted at for being a mute. It was actually, a question was directed at me. Who's going to win the World Cup? And this question is for the guy to your right, the mute Cillian Sheridan. That rattled me. There was a few times where I was talking and I could hear like a few groans and boos, because if it was one of those where if the story wasn't funny within the first 5 or 10 seconds, you lost them. Lost them. A few times I was rattled. But anyway, I kept going till the end. I stuck it out until the very end. A guy goes, "Right, I've got one more question. I'm from Dundee, and this question's for Cillian Sheridan." And I was thinking, oh no, what's this going to be? "I work for Mercedes." And as soon as he said that, I knew exactly where this was going. And he goes, "I work for Mercedes." And he last year came in and asked for a car. I was looking for a car, and he asked if footballers get a discount. And he said, "Because I'm a footballer." So I had to go and Google him.
Oh, man.
Yeah. But in my defense, before when I played in Scotland, the PFA had a discount with Mercedes. So I asked if there was a discount. There was a PFA discount. I'm pretty sure I didn't go in and, "Hey, if you can get a discount, get a discount."
Fucking right. I was going to ask, did you get a discount?
No, didn't. And that was, he ended it with, and he fucking never even came back in. Like, yeah, didn't get a discount. So I'm kind of weighing up to have a petty response, a petty revenge. And I think I am. I'm gonna play the long game with this one. It's hopefully it'll make for some good content over the next. It could go on months.
I support revenge. I'm with you there.
Petty revenge.
Yeah.
Petty revenge.
Darren likes vigilante justice, didn't you, Darren?
Yeah. I think that's similar.
Like Batman.
Exactly.
I feel like I didn't really ask you too much as a guest.
That's okay.
And I just carried on as normal.
Yeah, that's all right. The only difference is I've had a camera pointed to me.
I'm afraid if I've asked you any questions at the start and then just never followed up on them. I don't think I did I?
No, it's been good. I've enjoyed
Yeah.
it.
We wouldn't call it an interview.
No.
Call it a... So I'm going to show this to people, future guests, and say, this is what you can expect.
You can
Just-
wear your gym gear.
You just chime in whenever you want. You say anything inappropriate, it'll be cut. It's okay. Free reign here. Anyway, I'll end this by saying, well done if you're still with us till the end and you watched it all the way through. Now, go leave a review.